Thank you, Councilmember Todd and the Committee on Government Operations for this opportunity to speak and for your support of LGBTQ young people. My name is June Crenshaw, and I am the Executive Director of the Wanda Alston Foundation. At the Wanda Alston Foundation, it's our mission to eradicate LGBTQ homelessness and to ensure LGBTQ youth between the ages of 16 and 24 who are experiencing homelessness are treated with dignity and respect. We work to provide all our youth with a safe place to call home, access to services and support to reduce the impact of their homelessness, and the ability to move into permanent housing upon leaving the Wanda Alston Foundation. Our programming is youth-centered and trauma-informed. As an organization founded by transgender women of color, we are dedicated to ensuring that all LGBT youth, especially youth of color, have access to services that improve their overall quality of life. We're committed to health, well-being, and safety of our youth. We are committed to the promotion of personal development, independent living, and self-sufficiency. We achieve this through personalizing our programming and connections to services that best meet each individual resident's need. The overall representation of LGBTQ youth among the homeless youth population is not surprising to anyone who has lived the experience of being bullied daily at school or rejected by family and friends because of one's sexual orientation, gender identity, or gender expression. 59% of LGBTQ youth say that their families make them feel bad because of their identity. In DC, young women of color are the majority in the LGBT homeless youth population. LGBT youth are particularly vulnerable during episodes of homelessness. Once homeless, LGBT youth experience higher rates of physical and sexual assault. 62% of homeless LGBT youth were physically harmed by others, and 38% of them were forced to do unwanted sexual acts. There is also a high incidence of mental health problems compared to their heterosexual counterparts. 80% of LGBT youth report usually feeling depressed, and 62% of LGBT youth experience homelessness are likely to attempt suicide, compared to 29% of heterosexual youth. In addition, there's an uptick in hate crimes in the DC area, and that youth feel unsafe in traditional shelters. So we have a local and a national epidemic on our hands. Our program works to directly address the aftermath of trauma and psychological, emotional, and social obstacles by connecting our youth to mental health and behavioral health providers, and by providing in-house support to acute and immediate mental health challenges. Our biggest challenge is a lack of financial resources to support our facility and our programming. Our youth and our agency are impacted by institutional and systemic racism, homophobia, discrimination, and poverty. We are challenged with the acuteness of the youth we serve and the specialized attention required of each case. We need more resources to do an adequate job of addressing the high needs of our youth. The work that we perform takes time to show lasting and sustainable results. We do not have a quick fix to the issue of LGBT youth homelessness, and there is a lack of resources available to small nonprofits. The Wanda Alston Foundation is extremely appreciative of the much-needed funding and technical support that we receive from the Mayor's Office of LGBT Affairs through the FY LGBT Homeless Youth Empowerment and Self-Sufficiency Grant. This small grant has helped us to cover the cost of an on-site clinical supervisor, but we know that there's more work to be done. We cannot sustain improvements. We require more resources to our agency, which serves the most vulnerable of our community. We ask for $3 million in resources for the Office of LGBTQ Affairs so that LGBT organizations like the Wanda Alston Foundation can be supported in the critical work that we do. Thank you for an opportunity to speak before the council this morning, and thank you for your continued support.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. And thank you all for your testimony this morning. I know we have two different constituencies represented, seniors and young people, but it sounds like one of the biggest challenge for both is the ability to get affordable housing. And that's a challenge all across the city, but uniquely so here. And I know that Mary's House, the three of you have testified that we should provide at least 25 vouchers. And I do have a question, and I'll ask the director. We got 10 vouchers in 17, but it doesn't appear that any were provided in 2018, and I'm not sure why. And I don't know if either of you know, but we'll ask the director when she comes up to provide her testimony. But we will work with the Housing Committee as well as even maybe the Human Services Committee to see what can be done to increase the number of vouchers for fiscal year 2020. But thank you all for your testimony. And that was a good suggestion about the shared staffer potentially between MOVA and LGBTQ affairs. So we'll take a look at that. And thank you, Ms. Crenshaw, for your testimony. What is the amount of the grant that you received from the office? Do you remember?
Yes, it was $15,000.
$15,000. And how many people was that able to assist?
So we have youth in our program for 18 months,
Okay.
But folks come and stay for different periods of time. So for FY 17, we served, I believe it was 15 or 16 youth.
Okay.
For that $15,000. It helps to support and pay for our clinical supervisor. And she does immediate assessments around trauma and mental health and care. And so it's really important to trying to stabilize the youth that's coming into our facility.
Okay. And that is something that this committee, we heard it last year, we heard it during Oversight, that the office needs more grant ability. And so that's certainly something that we'll be looking at as we move through the budget season. But thank you all for your testimony. And if you haven't submitted your written testimony, please do so by email. I think the record is open for at least until the end of the week? Till Wednesday at 5.